Coach,
I hear the phone.
without like you getting into specifics, obviously, for obvious reasons, talk us through the process of how you watch film, translate that knowledge, educating guys like Cade and that whole group to get them ready to play. Again, this is real way up, 30,000 foot, not specifics.
I mean, there's definitely an art to it. I think our whole approach, especially with our position, is kind of like what he was alluding to before a game. On game day is at times there can be too much. There can just be over-analysis. There can be overload for a player. Coaches, we can handle it. It's our job. We do it every day. It's our livelihood. It's the whole shebang, right? But in the limited amount of time that we actually can be with these players, it's got to be to the point. It's got to be things that they can really retain and they can regurgitate. Like, I mean, if you overload these dudes, I mean, these are college students. It's in the NFL. They got other things going on. They got school and all the other things that are coming at them at this day and age. So just being to the point, being things, and putting it in a way that they can, like I said, retain it, I think that's the key. And especially at our position, these guys are asked to do so much at the quarterback position that they got to know it all. There certainly is a lot on their plate. There's a lot that they got to memorize and know and be able to speak it and articulate it. But there is a fine line of not overloading those guys. I think there's a beauty to that for sure.
Tajh, how have you transitioned from player to life after football to now coaching and being able to manage like all the points of view that you have, especially as someone who did play here? How do you kind of hone in your message and the way that you talk and share things to guys without really overwhelming yourself to not overwhelm them,
sure.
if that makes sense?
Well, for me, it's kind of twofold, right? So, like, I had this disdain for the game of football when I finished playing. I felt like the relationship was skewed a little bit, and I didn't feel like it loved me the same way I loved it, and all of these different things. I went through this whirlwind of emotions, and then Coach Sweeney invited me back, and that was the best thing for me, and especially to repair my relationship with the game. I ended up writing a breakup note to football, all of this. I thought I was Ernest Hemingway. You know what I mean? But sitting there and I'm going through it, and I'm sitting there talking with Shipley. And, for the first time, I realized, like, the experiences I had weren't in vain, right? Like, I was able to give the game something, because you always want to know what the game can give you and not what you can give it. But, I mean, service above self is always been the motto. And, in this industry and what we do, that's all that this is, And so it was pretty special to see that vantage point from it. And then from a player standpoint, just knowing what these guys are going through, seeing the emotions that come with the game of football, seeing the work that goes into it. Like, you try to help them understand that even the things that they think are there to hurt them are there to make them better, right? And so it's like, I was talking to D-Mac about this, and it's like, you can't sympathize with them, but you can empathize with them because you've been there. You know what it looks like. But the moment you sympathize, with them and for them, and coach is doing me wrong, it's like, I'm not going to give you that, right? Because you got a job to do, and there's work that must be done. But the moment I give you an excuse, a reason to make an excuse or a cop-out, is the moment that I'm letting you down. Because once you finish the game, because you will finish at some point, or once you go into society, like, it is a completely different world out there. And so it's cool for me because I went and worked, and I was out there, and I saw what that side of it looked like. But they have an opportunity right now to grow and learn so much before they get to that point. And so it's like, I'm trying to help them prepare for what's to come later on, And so you can do that through this game, and not just the football, but just the game of life as a whole. So
I think a huge part of what makes this program special is the emphasis on graduating our guys, right? Like, we do it second to none across the board when you look at college football, and would love to hear both from you, Cade, and from you, Coach, about being a part of a program where that is ultimately the number one value, right? We want to make great football players, great men, great husbands, great citizens, and we want to graduate them too. So talk a little bit about, since being here and understanding and knowing that Clemson was the right choice. You made this choice. It was the right one. And knowing that you'll walk away with a degree being a huge part of it?
Yeah, obviously super cool that, our first priority here, or one of our first priorities here is graduation. And, I think that, you come to college, obviously you come to college to graduate. And Coach Sweeney talks about a lot of the time that, he can give us the opportunity to go to school, but he can't graduate for us. And like, we have to still step into that opportunity and still take care of our business. And, I think that that's something that he does an amazing job of, and kind of all of our, student athlete development does an amazing job at this university of just like prioritizing and giving us the best tools to really succeed off the field. And, whether that's, with, our academic advisors or whatever it is, they're truly giving us every single tool that we need to really succeed. And that's just so awesome. Just, I've talked to other guys at other schools, and it's just not the same. So to have that here, it's definitely a huge blessing.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I would just say is it's awesome for me as a coach to be at a program like this and work for a guy like Coach Sweeney, where he's just so passionate about it, right? I mean, there's no compromising our game, and we all know, I mean, as coaches, if you don't win and you don't perform and all that stuff, you're not going to have a job. But with that, he's not compromising any of that. I mean, we believe in what we believe in here, and that's having perspective and knowing the big picture for our student athletes, that down the road, he always says about the 30-year-old version of yourself. We got to put them in the best position for that, and so that's what's awesome about working here.
We talked about you being broken in. You have been dumped into the orange blood, and you drank the juice, and you're all in. Your quick 30-second love letter to Clemson in this program since being a part of it, and obviously coming from one to another, and what makes you love this place and these people.
I mean, the first thing that just sticks out to me, and you can see it from day one of just being around this program, is it is the people. I mean, there's no doubt about it, and that's the people in our building. It's the people that obviously support you in the community and come to games. It's almost overwhelming, I mean, we have a huge staff, just kind of starting there, and but it's just like-minded people that truly love to be here and truly love to be around our players, and it's genuine, and we kind of say it all the time as coaches and people that work here. It's hard to fabricate, and it's hard to duplicate it, and a lot of other people have probably tried, people that have moved on or whatever, and it's just something about being in this setting, in this state, in this town, and kind of all the things that we're about. It all just works together, and so it's kind of hard to describe, but that's probably the best way I can put it.